Hey, so welcome back to Project Joyful, the podcast for health-centered leaders. Today we're exploring the exhaustion that 8 hours of sleep just can't fix. You know the one I'm talking about. You go to bed early, you wake up late, you've dialed in your supplements and even quit the during the week wine, and yet you're still dragging yourself through the day. Let's talk about that, shall we?
You're the one they turn to, the calm one, the capable one, the one with the answers. And yet, beneath it all, you know there's more available for you. More energy, more clarity, more unshakable presence. Welcome to Project Joyful, the podcast for health-centered leaders. I'm Tracy Tutty. Here, we speak to the part of you that knows leadership isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more fully who you are. So let's begin, shall we?
So we're not talking about just being tired. This is identity level depletion, and it shows up in some surprisingly high-functioning ways. You're hitting your deadlines, but you're feeling emotionally flat. You're there for your team, but you secretly dread their Teams pings asking for your input. Or you're getting through the meetings, but you're forgetting what it feels like to really feel inspired. This is the exhaustion you can't sleep off because it's not just physical, it's nervous system based, it's hormonal, it's leadership based. But first, let's start with the science. When your nervous system is constantly running in sympathetic dominance, that fight, flight, or freeze mode, your cortisol rhythm shifts. Instead of rising in the morning and tapering through the day, it flattens, or worse, it spikes at night. So this means that you're not getting the morning cortisol lift that gives you that get up and go. And you might find yourself waking up at 3 a.m. and struggling to fall back asleep. That's not random. It's often your cortisol spiking too early. Because your cortisol is meant to rise gradually from about 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. and it peaks just before you wake up. But when your system's running on high alert, it surges prematurely and it pulls you out of sleep. Add to that a dip in blood sugar, which is common in stressed bodies, and your brain goes into protection mode. It's like something's coming, get ready. Even if you manage to fall back asleep, your body has already activated its emergency response. And while your system's beautifully adapted, when this becomes a pattern, it quietly chips away at the deep rest your leadership depends on. Your body's already mobilized for a crisis that actually didn't exist. And that false alarm steals the restoration your leadership relies on. And if it's rising in the evening, well, you'll lie in bed feeling wired and tired. Now overlay that with identity-based leadership pressure. You're the one that holds it all. The one who keeps the team grounded, the family calm, the deadlines met. But here's the truth. Most high-performing women don't want to admit this, but your body's exhaustion is a message. And it's not just saying rest more. It's saying that you're navigating leadership through a filter of hyper-responsibility. You're not just doing your job, you're holding the emotional weight of your team, smoothing what's not yours to carry, perfecting what no one else would question, and sacrificing your own stillness so that no one feels discomfort. It's not about not coping. It's about how much of your energy is spent coping instead of leading. Now, I see this a lot with my neuro-identity clients, right? On paper, they are exceptional. But internally, their leadership is running on hypervigilance, a constant state of scanning for potential problems, preparing for the worst, a plan for a plan for a plan. That used to be me. And overcorrecting before anything goes wrong. Now, this kind of vigilance isn't just mentally exhausting, it's biologically expensive. Your body treats it like a low-grade emergency, which means that your heart rate stays elevated, your digestion slows, your hormonal systems go out of sync, and your energy is funneled into survival instead of restoration. If you spend most of your time in hypervigilance mode, you don't feel safe to stop. You don't feel safe to be still, safe to be seen. At work, it might look like reviewing slides at 8 or 9 p.m. with a glass of wine in hand, not because you don't trust your team, but because if anything's off, you think it reflects on you. And let's be honest, choosing that glass of wine isn't just about the ritual. It's about the feeling of ease that it creates in your body, that moment of exhale. And in that choice, you're showing just how capable you are at solving your own problems. You've found something that works, temporarily, mind you. But here's the thing. While that moment of ease is real, it's also fleeting. What your body's actually craving isn't the wine, it's the exhale. And that exhale is available in other, more sustainable ways. The wine's just the messenger. And what your body is craving isn't the wine, it's that release. It's that feeling of ease and of relaxation, that warm softness. That craving for ease doesn't just show up in the glass, it shows up in the calendar too. It looks like when you say yes to a high visibility project because it looks good on paper, even though something in your gut says, not this one. It's creating 5 explanatory slides when one would have done, just in case someone questions your thinking, or you're saving yourself from expending energy thinking on the spot. That thinking that's done without the rehearsal that helps you make it perfect, which is a form of coping. At home, it's sitting on the couch with your partner, but your brain's still at work. It's snapping at your kids when all they did was ask a question because your emotional bandwidth has been spent during the day proving, anticipating, containing. This isn't about how capable you are. It's about how much of your energy is spent trying to stay ahead of what might go wrong instead of feeling safe to be fully present. So how do you shift this? Well, here's 3 practical ways to begin. Start stacking your energy, not your output. Use a simple scale of 1 to 5 to check in, say, 3 times a day. Now, on this scale, 1 is I'm flatlining, I'm drained, I'm scattered, I'm reactive. And 5 is I feel steady, I feel focused, I feel resourced. And remember, this isn't about judgment. It's about building awareness and recognizing patterns. Where are you leaking the most energy? What tasks or people drain you versus replenish you? And as you track this, begin noticing your natural rhythm. Are you sharper mid-morning? Are you more reflective late afternoon? Your circadian rhythm is more than just sleep. It's your body's internal clock guiding you when you're most alert, when you're most creative, when you're most grounded. For example, I'm a bear chronotype. That means that my most productive windows tend to be mid-morning to early afternoon. I know, not very sexy, eh? I've learned that trying to force deep work late in the day goes against my biology and it just drains me faster. Instead, I schedule strategic tasks around when I naturally have more focus. And I use those lower energy windows for admin or integration time and often a little bit of movement. Now, I used to wonder, is working out during my low energy window a mistake? But the truth is, it really does depend. You see, if it's a gentle recalibration like a walk or a reset, it works beautifully because I'm already in that nice grounded down zone. But if I'm forcing myself through a punishing workout because it's on the schedule, well, that's just another way I'm overriding my body. Save those when you've got more natural energy and focus. Now, this distinction matters because it's about working with your body. Aligning with your energy rhythm isn't about rigid rules, mind you. It's about partnering with your biology, not pushing through it. Align your high focus tasks with your peak energy windows. And this simple shift honors your unique biology and it restores a sense of flow that no productivity hack ever could. Okay, so here's something else to try. Give your body a new cue for safety. This could be 90 seconds of box breathing before a big call, or if you're dashing between meetings and you don't want to be seen breathing your box, try a slow inhale with an even longer, luxurious exhale. Just that small reset can signal to your body, we're safe now. Other ways of doing this, a warm drink and a hand on your heart when you feel anxious. Even better if your warm drink includes herbs like chamomile. lemon balm, or green oat, nervous system allies that gently support your shift back into calm. And when you consistently show your nervous system that it's safe to pause, your cortisol rhythm begins to recalibrate. Now, here's another one, the third one. I'm inviting you to challenge the productivity trance. Ask yourself, if I believed I already belonged here, how would I lead today? That question alone shifts you from proving to presence. Because here's the thing. No amount of supplements or sleep hacks will override a subconscious belief that you're not allowed to rest. And that's where we do the deeper identity work, right? In neuroidentity coaching, for example, I help you to uncover why your nervous system doesn't believe it's safe to soften. And together we shift that pattern through intentional practice and realigned presence. Now, if this episode landed, I'd love to invite you to our upcoming masterclass, When You Feel Better, You Lead Better. It's happening live on Wednesday, August 21st at 10 a.m. New Zealand time, and it's free. And in this masterclass, we're going to go deeper into things like why coping well is the most dangerous form of depletion, how to build leadership presence from your nervous system up, the science of clean energy, and how to lead without leaking it. Now, this masterclass is for the woman who's ready to stop outsourcing her vitality to routines, and she's ready to start reclaiming it from within by working with her body, not pushing through those full-on days or tough transitions just to tick another thing off the list. It's time to stop overriding and start collaborating with the intelligence that's been there all along. You don't need more sleep. What might shift everything is feeling safe, truly safe in your own leadership. And then your sleep falls into its own pattern as a byproduct of that. But let's bring it full circle. You see, I'm just thinking back to one of my clients, and she shared that as she became calmer, the energy of her entire house shifted. She said, you do transfer that on to the people who are living with you. And what she discovered wasn't just that it was about more calm or more focus. It actually showed up as a calmer home with more connection and more joy. Because when you shift, the people around you shift too. Your presence becomes the permission they didn't know they needed. Your clarity ripples into your culture, your parenting, your team's energy. So if you've been coping well but wondering where your spark went, this masterclass is for you. Register now for When You Feel Better, You Lead Better. I'll leave a link in the notes. I can't wait to see you there. Sending you lots of love. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for listening to today's podcast. Can I ask you a favour? If our conversation spoke to you today, could you please take a moment to leave a 5-star review? Your review will help people discover this podcast, and together we can create a world where there's even more love and more laughter. And if you want to hear more from the Project Joyful podcast, just click the subscribe button. Bye for now.